The Federalist Era, 1789 to 1801, marked the United States' formative years under the new Constitution. Guided by leaders like George Washington and John Adams, the nation faced the challenge of building a functioning government, managing political divisions, and navigating foreign threats. This period was crucial in defining the principles and structures that would guide the country's future. The early leaders had to balance power between federal and state governments while uniting a diverse and divided population. Their decisions would lay the foundation for America's long-term stability and growth. The adoption of the U.S. Constitution in 1789 replaced the weak Articles of Confederation, empowering the federal government to unify and govern effectively. To ease fears of centralized power, the Bill of Rights was ratified in 1791, safeguarding freedoms like speech, religion, and due process. These amendments reassured anti-federalists that individual liberties would be protected under the new system. George Washington set important presidential precedents promoting unity and neutrality. He established the cabinet, appointing Alexander Hamilton as the Secretary of Treasury and Thomas Jefferson as Secretary of State. This advisory group became essential to executive decision-making and managing the nation's most pressing issues. The Judiciary Act of 1789 created a structured court system with the Supreme Court, circuit courts, and district courts, ensuring federal laws could be enforced nationwide. This system provided a clear legal framework for resolving disputes and interpreting the Constitution. Federalists like Washington and Hamilton worked to assert federal authority, laying a stable foundation for governance. They understood that a strong judiciary was necessary to balance the powers of the other branches of government and maintain national unity. Alexander Hamilton's economic strategies were pivotal in stabilizing and strengthening the young nation. He founded the first Bank of the United States in 1791 to secure federal funds, issue currency, and provide loans to encourage economic growth. Though criticized by Jefferson and Madison for expanding federal power, the bank was crucial for national stability. Hamilton also proposed federal assumption of state debts from the Revolutionary War, enhancing national unity and financial credibility. This plan faced resistance but was passed after a compromise to relocate the national capital to the South, becoming Washington, D.C. Hamilton believed that a robust financial system was essential for the United States to gain international respect and economic independence. To raise revenue, Hamilton introduced the whiskey tax, inciting the Whiskey Rebellion in 1794. If you want to learn more about that, we'll have a link below for our video on that. Washington's firm response demonstrated the federal government's ability to enforce laws, strengthening its authority. By mobilizing a militia force to quell the rebellion, Washington sent a clear message that violent resistance to federal law would not be tolerated. Hamilton's financial policies established America's credit and encouraged economic development despite intensifying political divisions. These policies helped the United States transition from a war-torn colony to a stable and growing economy. The U.S. faced global challenges, balancing the neutrality and national interests. The French Revolution in 1789 divided Americans. Federalists supported Britain, while Democratic Republicans favored France. Washington's 1793 proclamation of neutrality kept the U.S. out of European conflicts, preserving the stability but sparking political backlash. Jay's Treaty in 1794 aimed to resolve tensions with Britain, securing British withdrawal from frontier forts but angering Jeffersonians due to perceived favoritism. This treaty was controversial, but it helped the U.S. avoid war and maintain crucial trade relationships with Britain, the nation's largest trading partner. During John Adams' presidency, the XYZ Affair in 1797 revealed French demands for bribes, leading to the undeclared quasi-war with France. Adams strengthened the Navy but avoided full war, highlighting the complexities of foreign diplomacy. His decision to pursue peace rather than war with France, despite public pressure, demonstrated restraint and preserved the fragile nation from potentially disastrous conflict. These foreign policy struggles tested America's resilience and shaped its global stance, demonstrating the importance of balancing diplomacy and defense. Political rivalry defined the era, with Federalists favoring strong federal authority and Democratic Republicans advocating for states' rights. Policies like Hamilton's economic plan and Jay's Treaty deepened divides. The Alien and Sedition Acts of 1798 expanded presidential power to target immigrants and suppress dissent, sparking backlash and prompting Jefferson and Madison's Kentucky and Virginia resolutions, which argued for states' rights to nullify federal laws. These acts were viewed by many as an overreach of federal power and direct attack on free speech and political opposition. The political conflict during this period highlighted the growing pains of a new republic struggling to define the limits of federal authority. The election of 1800, won by Thomas Jefferson, marked the Federalist decline. Yet, the peaceful transfer of power underscored the Constitution's strength. Despite intense political rivalry, the transition set an important precedent for future administrations, demonstrating the resilience of the democratic process. Jefferson's victory signaled a shift toward more democratic ideals, prioritizing limited government and greater individual freedoms. Despite partisan strife, the Federalist Era established a strong federal government, a sound financial system, and a resilient institution. It set enduring precedents in governance, economics, and foreign policy that shaped America's future. The foundational work of Washington, Hamilton, Adams, and others created the framework for a stable government capable of handling internal conflict and external threats. Their legacy continues to influence the balance of power and the structure of American democracy today.